Exactly, and that takes us into the third point today, which is make a conscious choice that moves you towards your goal. So we already started talking about it. Let's dig deeper into it. Tell us why making a conscious choice that moves you towards your goal is so important.
Well, when you're making, like we were just talking about, when you're in the habit of making choices off of autopilot, which is what I like to call it when we're driving to work and whenever we're getting up and doing the same morning routine every single day, those are autopilot choices. Whether you realize it or not, you're making a choice. You're making a choice to stay in that particular pattern. And you're making a choice because you didn't choose to do something different. So even not making a choice is making a choice, in effect. So how you make a conscious choice to get out of it is when the next time you're faced with a circumstance, rather than acting or reacting or interacting the same way that you had always done before, because knowing that those same thought patterns are just going to recreate the same outcomes that they've done before, then you have a choice. And you can consciously make a choice and say, hey, no, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back off of this, and I'm going to do something different than I did before. And by just making that one simple choice to do something different, and then taking the action to do it, you just changed the entire outcome. You just broke a habitual thought cycle.
Well, it's like,
And now, all of a sudden, it's game on in a whole new world and a whole new way of doing things. Even if it's only different by that much, it's still different. And now all of a sudden, there are different variables at play. Now you have a greater chance to succeed because you have more variables to play with, because you're looking at it from a different aspect, because you have made a conscious choice that you're not going to be in the cycle that you were in before. You're not going to live that way anymore. You're going to take charge of your life, and you're going to make these choices that are going to get you to the places you want to be.
exactly. Well, it goes back to the old days. Think before you act and think before you speak. I mean, it's funny that you don't hear a lot of people talk about that anymore. About think before you say something or think before you act. And I know that some of the people I've coached have had this terrible thing where they've become so habitual in just speaking their mind and believing that everybody will see their good heart, that they get
Right.
themselves in trouble sometimes. And
I've been there.
so you got to work and say, okay, even if it's not every time, think
Yeah.
about what you're going to say real quick, and then and physically think about what you're going to say, and then say it. Not like they talk about at networking meetings where people are thinking about what they're going to say next. That's a whole nother topic. But if you find
Right.
yourself just blurting things out, it's the same thing in what Joe was talking about. Think about it real quick and think of how it sounds.
Yeah.
And that's helps to start the chain of making things different, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just doing the one little thing different, and just asking yourself that one little question: is this going to move me closer to my goal? That can cause you to take the one step that breaks you out of the cycle. And I suppose some cycles are good for some people. Absolutely. I mean, you have people who get up and they have a healthy cycle of eating properly and getting morning exercise and getting the proper amount of rest at night and hydrating themselves properly before they start their day. And those are good cycles to be in. And those are if those are the types of cycles that you want to be in, you can create those for yourself. You can create new habitual thought patterns for yourself in ways that are going to benefit you versus the cycles that are not benefiting you. And so you open a whole new world of creation just by choosing your thoughts.
So
That's the one choice that you have to make is, am I gonna act on this thought or not?
well, and you brought up something about healthy cycles and about conscious goals, and I just want to run something by you. So on the surface, a cycle of getting enough sleep at night and getting up, hydrating, working out, having a good breakfast, and doing things that make you physically healthy. On the surface, that sounds like a good conscious habitual cycle to be in, right? Sounds like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
Now,
like it.
now that was going to be my question. Even when you have good things that look on the surface and what everybody else would say were good habitual cycles to be in, would you say that people should reevaluate them to see if there are any unintended negative consequences and that they might
Oh,
have to
sure.
change that cycle?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, you take a look at someone who is vegan, for example. All right, me personally, I still eat meat. Okay, I know, sue me, everybody, just get me now. You know, somebody call PETA on the phone. Yeah, I still eat meat. Right. The thing is that, but a vegan makes a choice that they're going to give up meat, that they're going to give up dairy products, and that they're going to stick strictly to this very strict diet. They also make a choice when they make that their diet just in every meal that they ate just went up in price. They're just, it's expensive to eat like a vegan. It's expensive to eat what they do and to prepare the meals the different ways that they prepare them and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, those are choices. Those are choices that they make based off of it. So if all of a sudden they're hurting for money and they're going to have to make different choices, maybe that's one of the things that they look at. If I make a different choice, if I choose to no longer particularly live this lifestyle, even though it's great and healthy for me, maybe just a vegetarian lifestyle would save me just a little bit more money. I'm compromising a little bit here, but it's win-win on both sides. So,
Well, and that becomes the real big key, is the fact of, and that was kind of the point I was trying to get to, and I'm glad that we're on the same page on that, is say, is it as a whole good or bad? We think it's good, maybe we think it's healthy, but if it's hurting our finances and it's causing more stress in our finances, then is it really the best thing? And that's
right.
when you've made a conscious choice to reevaluate your habits, and then you go back and rediscover your core values. Because vegan is a great example. Some people go vegan because they're really opposed to any type of eating any type of animal because they don't believe it's right, and that's great. If it gets to a point where they don't have enough money to feed them and their children, then they have to go back and they should at least go back and make a choice and say, okay, am I going to take the life of an animal over the life of my family? And they might, and that might be the way they go, and they might stick, and that might be their core value, that all
Right.
life is sacred. The beautiful part about that is if they find out that that is still their core value, then they know they've got to go make more money someplace else. So it gives them the path to go forward with. I mean, is that kind of a fair way to wrap this?
Exactly. Like you said, exactly. They're in the nutshell, because if that was still their core value, then it opens up a path for them to go forward. That's what the core values are doing. They open us up a path. It helps us change our negative thoughts. It helps us change to see how it all works in a cycle like that. Our core values say to go this way. The decision to keep us on top of our core values is the right thing for us to do. So we're going to stay with that. That opens up a new path. Okay, so now we have to go make more money, just like you said. So then there's faced with various different paths and opportunities that come with the next decision of making it. That when you make it to go get more money, then there's another whole process begins again. A whole new alignment of your core values, a whole new thought process that you either got to construct or deconstruct, and then choices that you have to make to go there.
Right, and that's why it's so important to work with a coach like Joe. I mean, today we've been talking all about being stuck and moving forward. In part one, you heard about Joe's hero's journey from somebody in the military to civilian life to a very deep, dark place. And then the aftermath is him putting all his experience together to help folks just like you getting unstuck, because Joe was stuck at one point. And in this piece of the episode, we talked about rediscovering your core values, breaking the cycle of habitual thinking, and making a conscious choice that moves you towards your goal. And you just heard Joe very eloquently wrap it all up to show you how first you make the choice, then you can at least question and possibly break your habitual thinking. You define your core values, and then the loop starts all over again. It doesn't mean you have to change your core values. It just means that you're reconfirming what you've got in place today is working for you, for your family, to make you the biggest success you can be. So the great news is that between now, the time you're watching this video, and the time you start working with Joe as a coach, you can do something awesome and epic, which is read Joe's book. Now, you got to go to, I'm going to punch up Joe's website. There we go. Joe, we got Joe's website, JoeVulgamore.com. And if you go to his website, you can actually get his book called Hardwired, A Personal Guide to Success. They can go right to your website and purchase it right from there. Correct, Joe?
Absolutely, absolutely. That if they purchase it from my website, it'll actually take them to Amazon to be purchasing it from Amazon. It's available in paperback and Kindle.
Awesome. So for all you multitaskers out there who are now shopping on Amazon while listening to Joe and I talk, you want to search for Hardwired, A Personal Guide to Success, or Joe Vulgamore, either one, and get his book. So while you're multitasking, definitely get his, book.
Absolutely.
And once again, we're just about to wrap up. So Joe, before we wrap up the episode for today, any final thoughts you want to leave our viewers with?
Well, yeah, the viewers, just think about it, any situation that you have that you're stuck with. It can be anything, whatever. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling unhappy, and you're having a hard time coming to a decision about what to do, about how to get out of it, you can't see the path, the first thing is just check your core values. Check your core values and align yourself with those. And then any decision you make going forward will at least be a decision you can live with in good conscience, a decision you can be happy that you made, and a decision that'll move you closer to the outcome that you want to achieve. And that goes for personal life, professional life. It goes for the white-collar world and the blue-collar world. It goes for the executive world, anywhere you're at in life.
Awesome. Great advice. Great advice, Joe. Loved having you on the show. Thanks for another epic episode. I say another, but yeah, yes, I kind of screwed up the first episode, but that's okay. Thanks for the epic episode today, Joe. Thanks for everything you do for everybody. Folks, get Joe's book. Go to Joe's website. Connect with Joe. Do what you can. He's there to help you get unstuck. And until next time, and until the next episode of Expert Showcase, make it a great day.
To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.